Hi there. How you doing, everybody? It's me, September, also known as 9 of 12. I put on just chatting because I'm not like making anything new or demonstrating anything new. I have done the Donair on stream before. But I'm just making it for dinner and I wanted to get a stream in. I've had the sinus infection that keeps just moving back and forth. I can't decide what side of my face to be on. So I haven't been feeling great. I haven't been streaming much. I figured I'd come out and chat, and while I get this ready for dinner, and because it is a regular thing in my house, I guess it demonstrates that as well. And if you missed it before, maybe it'll inspire you to go back and look at the VOD. And it takes like 90 minutes to cook, and I'm not going to probably hang out that whole time because I do have to take my son to work later and all kinds of other shit. But I've got I think we'll go through some of these cookbooks like we did before, like what the hell, uh, old cookbooks I have and interesting, funny ones. I'm looking for. I thought I had one out here that I wanted to show you guys that I love that I'm keeping. Well, I got years ago to flea market. It's not, or not flea market. It's like a nursery that has some used stuff for sale in another room downtown here in Statesville, and it's really interesting. It's not one of the ones my friend Scott donated for giving away in the stream. Um, if I find that, I find that. If not, we'll just look at some of these ones that were donated that are part of the giveaways here, and send your friends. I've been just as I get more followers, like about every 10, I'm giving away a cookbook for now. We can come up with more giveaways later. So this recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground beef. I like to mix beef and lamb for this. It's really, really good that way. There's a couple different recipes I found online when I started making donair, but I've stuck with this one because none of the other ones tend to have the coriander in them, and for me, the coriander is a very uh, just a standout good difference in the flavor of this meat mixture. That it makes it distinct, very distinct from things like gyro, which I have also made at home with a loaf type recipe like this, but because I don't have a big rotisserie gadget for doing a traditional style, but it works amazingly well. I thought about, excuse me, using a method I saw Canara use not long ago, where I'm gonna have to get my hair out of my face. She used parchment and rolled it out really thin and cooked it like in basically the strips you would already use to um, eat. But I'm not doing that today, and it was kind of folly at party, and I don't know how much different this would behave. The recipe I use in that respect, she used a different recipe. I don't know, from like it was German Doner or something. Um, so I am using the mixer for this because you really want to get it blended up into a nice paste, consistent consistency and well blended with the beef and lamb and the spices so that when it bakes up, it slices in nice, dense strips. So, my beef and lamb in there. I ground some coriander fresh. It takes like a tablespoon, and I didn't have quite that much ground. And the rest was seed. I wanted to spare you the grinding noises. Although I hadn't cleaned out, I also had to clean out the grinder. I was using my excuse me, coffee grinder that's dedicated to spices. Because when I made the curry powder, I had thrown that in there and it was still kind of full of it. Oops. I didn't run rice through because I wasn't too worried with the little bit that was left in there that was going to interfere with this recipe. Um, but when you get stuff, see if I can show, really stuck, because stuff can get stuck down around um, the blade. I'll show you in a minute. Right now, I gotta get this out of here. Look, funnel. Recipe, also funnel. Um, like right down in here where these screws are, there was some curry stuck because of some of those spices being fresh enough to have oil still in them. You can run some like plain white rice or a little fresh bread through to clean out your grinder for the next use so you don't contaminate other spices you're using. Most of the time, just a dry rag will get out just about everything. So, I ground that up to not make a lot of noise at you. I forgot my measuring spoons. Pardon me. Um, do. Tablespoon, teaspoon, half teaspoon, right? Half a teaspoon, half a tablespoon. That's a stupid measurement. I mean, I guess when you're splitting stuff, it's not. All right. 2 pounds of meat. I use a pound of ground lamb and a pound of ground beef. A tablespoon of ground coriander. It doesn't have to be freshly ground. You can buy ground coriander. I am going to not worry about it being a tiny bit scant because I did just grind most of what's in this jar. 2 tablespoons of onion powder. My little containers of onion powder and garlic powder that I keep in the kitchen seem to be missing this morning. Uh-oh. Time to get some silicate pouches. My onion powder wants to clump. Nobody wants clumpy powder. 2, right? Okay. You have to help me keep on track here, chat. I'm like... And you know, we have a new follower, Madam... shoot, what was your name? A really cool name. Did a posture check last week, and like... I'm now being very conscious of my posture. 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. I really, really wish I had a better kitchen, as I'm sure I've mentioned 100 times. But I also wish I just had a better setup. I was talking with some other food streamers about being able to stand during streams, and I don't get enough activity in my life. It's hard for me with my autoimmune stuff. Sometimes I just have bad pain days. But it would be great to know that for this hour that I stream, usually an hour, that I'd be standing and working. But this is the dining room table because my kitchen is not able to do this. So I'd be spending the whole time to do any chopping and stuff. And woo-wee, yeah, not okay for your back. Not at all. Okay, where was I? Garlic. I should put these in a separate part of the table so that I know what I've done already. Oregano. I want to use my homegrown oregano. Let me see. I've got an unopened thing here, though. Heck with it. I'm going to use this. Well, I'm going to smell it first because it is old, even though it's unopened. It's this came from my dad's stash that I got that giant cupboard from. I threw a lot of old things away, but nope, still smells like oregano. 2 tablespoons of oregano. And I'm wondering, because I can't remember the oregano I'm growing, if it's Greek or Mexican. Um, they're supposed to be really, really different, but I've been using it in everything from the last couple of years. I haven't bought any oregano because it's growing so well. I've been using it for pasta sauces. That I've been using it for stuff like this, and it hasn't really done anything weird. Okay, 2.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. That's not kosher. That's sea salt. This isn't kosher either, but it's coarse. A half a tablespoon is a teaspoon and a half. And then for another teaspoon, this is a half. And err on the light side because salt. A tablespoon of black pepper. Oh, I'm so excited. I do have to, when I drop my son off, unless I can get somebody to go to the store before then so that he can eat this before going to work. Okay, this is the last thing. Half teaspoon of cayenne. Get some sweetened condensed milk because I don't think I have any in the cupboard for the sauce that goes with the Halifax Donair. There. This says a half teaspoon of cayenne. I went a little light because last time I think it's this particular cayenne is pretty spicy, and I don't want it to be too spicy on its own. Not that we mind, but the other flavors are so much more interesting. Oh, okay. Oven's preheating. I've got a half-ass, but I lined a loaf pan with parchment already. This is going to have to mix for about 5 minutes so it's a nice smooth paste, and then put it in the oven and cook it for 90 minutes. Yay! And then you cool and rest and blah, 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 blah. Again, I don't know if I'm even going to back this video up to YouTube because I had done the Donair before, so we're not learning anything new here. I guess if something really funny happened or clips happened, ooh, something went poof. Probably onion powder. It's really, really finely ground. Then I would save it. So put it up a little higher and then back down. And let's push this down on the sides a little because it's acting a little weird. Probably should have broken up the giant slabs of meat before starting this instead of completely relying on the KitchenAid, but there. Yeah. That should give it a little room to work. And I'm going to go blow my nose and wash my hands. Dang it. Well, that works. And once we get that in the oven, sorry about that. I probably should have muted my mic. We'll look at some of these cookbooks I got that are very interesting. I'm just really annoyed. I swore when I was thinking about doing this, I got out my one with all the famous people that was really funny to look at. We could also at some point look at just some of my favorite cookbooks. I know I recommend how to cook everything all the time, but of course, the sausage recipe book, which I haven't read cover to cover, but I really should, because I have found things in there that I forgot to look for when I first got it, and there's cool history in it, where I learned about stuff like sausages used to be bootlegged. They were just too delicious and got outlawed and stuff. Um, Journal. I've got an onion cookbook I got when I went to Bermuda, because they're very proud of their onions. Crap. Where did I put it? That's okay. All right, let's check the meats. Oh, it's clumping up on the thing. All right, so you can. The sound of earthquake. Earthquake. Hi, DJ. I saw you were just on. Um, I'm making Halifax Donair. Hello, Dave Farr. Oh, you're the other DJ from that show, right? Audio Drops? Is that what it's called? I didn't have time to tune in because it turns out one son is sick. I have to take the other one to work, so I got to get this Donair going. Um, if you're not familiar with Halifax Donair, it's similar to a gyro, kind of a different flavor profile, and they make a sweet sauce that it's made with sweetened condensed milk, garlic, and vinegar to go on it. But this meat mixture is amazing, and I found a good recipe online that my husband's from Prince Edward Island, where you can also get Donair. And he likes the sauce to just, I don't know, he'll eat chips on it and he'll dip pizza in it and everything else. So I make Donair fairly regularly. Oh, yeah, I got it right. Eardrops. I recommend everybody go listen to Eardrops. It's on DJ underscore Bogu's channel. They play some really good music I like. Yeah, the meat was really cold. It's starting to get, you can't see, the paste-y consistency I want, just so that when it cooks down in the loaf, it'll be really easy to slice. It'll come out as a nice solid, like you're used to seeing your gyro meat, but it's a different flavor profile. It's got coriander, onion, garlic, pepper, cayenne, oregano, salt, pepper. In this recipe I used, which I've been using on the regular for a while, and it didn't print out where it comes from. Sorry, but it's the only one I've seen that's listed as classic Halifax Donair. I tried a couple, and this is favorite for my family. I'll turn that up a minute. Okay. It's been a little bit of a pain because it's cold. But I want to be safe with the food, so I will just have to do the extra work of pushing that down. So what cookbook are we going to look at first? Today, I got this one from an elementary school. Is anybody else fascinated by like these old weird cookbooks? I just love them. Oh, there's that would help. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. I'm going to put on a couple gloves, so that we don't have to run and wash hands and do all that crap in between. unless it goes through my glove. If I take off the glove and the hand's wet, you're just going to have to deal with it while I go wash my hands again. Made you hungry. Dave, have you ever had a Donair? Or are you basing that on like, oh, I love gyro, or my description of what the seasonings are in this? Donairs are very unique, and it's just another of those things that I can't get around here. I moved south, and there's a lot of things I can't get around here in any way that satisfies things I'm used to having. The Donairs was a thing my husband grew up with, and PEI. For me, a good kielbasa um, and other sausage. Some of the other sausage around here isn't too bad, but Polish and kielbasa in particular is very difficult to get a good one, so I started making it myself. Canadian bacon is another one, um, or pea meal bacon. So pea meal bacon is a cured pork loin, um, and then you roll it in like cornmeal, and it's lovely. And then Canadian bacon is that then smoked. Um, so I make both of those myself now. I grew up in Buffalo. I grew up with, you know, we would take a trip across the border to like a Canadian butcher or sometimes American butchers that close to the border would have it. And I grew up being able to go get you know, a nice couple pound loin of Canadian bacon or pea meal bacon and have it for dinner. Um, the only Canadian bacon you can find in the States down here tends to be, you know, the deli meat kind, you know, kind of like that slice of stuff you get in an Egg McMuffin. Really not the same. Um, so my corners are going to look a little, you know, less than perfect square because I didn't cut and fold and dart my parchment paper, but I'm not really concerned with that. I just want this in here evenly and it'll be easy to slice once it's cooked. It does take like 90 minutes to cook. So we won't see the finished product today. I'll probably take a picture of the finished product, use as the thumbnail for this. But if you want to see that, I'll double check the YouTube archived version of me doing it to see if I did the end. Yeah, I'll do that and then figure out if I need to save this video. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. See, it is a paste. I know that sounds gross for meat in some ways, but trust me. If you were doing this in a traditional way, it's like stacked meat is stacked and stacked and stacked on this vertical rotisserie, and then they slice it off. You've seen it with gyro. If you haven't seen it with Donair, it's the same method. But these loaves are really freaking delicious and easier to do at home. Rob was actually looking, my husband was looking at vertical rotisseries, sending me the link. I'm like, we're not doing that. I don't have room in my kitchen to even stream. I'm having to do it at the dining room table, and another big counter using gadget like that, and where to store it when I'm not using it is too much of a challenge, especially when we've got a perfectly workable, delicious Donair recipe. I've got a gyro one too. I thought about doing gyro today instead, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm sick. Something about um, the idea of the coriander was making me want Donair. All right, I'm gonna make that as even as possible, and the paper helped me get clean edges. And the oven's already preheated. So I'm going to throw this in and then we'll look at some cookbooks. And I'm going to go and um, try to remember my bot command to give a shout out to uh, Dave and is it Bogu or Boju? How do you pronounce that? Mm. And how was your stream? I did miss it today. Like I said, I was busy. 70, 80, 90. Boop. Hour and 30 minutes. Ta-da! And dinner is mostly prepared. Throwing that sauce together is going to be nothing. I'll get it some sweetened condensed milk. I've got obviously vinegar in the house. Although we may a couple times ago making the Donair, I asked my husband to make pickled red onions, which he's done when we do tacos. And boy, those are a really nice add on Donair. It's not a traditional thing, but they're freaking good on those sandwiches. Um, and if I were not sick, I would probably try to make homemade pita because I haven't done that yet and I want to explore that. So let me see. Shout out DJ. Ha! That didn't work. Do I need to use an @ sign? I'm gonna try it again with an @ sign. I'm sorry. I have not. Um, Here we go. Nope. Sorry, my bot's broken, but everybody, you see what I'm trying to do. Go follow, and I'll go fix that bot. Um, I've only been doing the cooking stream since October. I have not a lot of frills set up. Um, and there were some years since I was hosting Geek Grills at this channel and had that kind of extras a lot more together. So let's look at. Shh, that's the loudest cat, and she's mostly deaf. Weird, right? Um, so this cookbook is in the 140 something, 50-ish cookbooks that I am giving away. If you're in my Discord, you can keep an eye on those giveaways. If you take a look at my goals for followers, because I am trying to build that up some. Um, when I get every 10 or so, I've been giving these away. And I gave some away on the New Year's Eve stream we did, me and Sean Weiland from my podcast, Tipple Theory. Did holiday drinks in a New Year's stream. Sorry, I need more coffee. We raised, I think, over $2,000, was it? For our Children's Miracle Network. And what's up?
Looking for batteries.
What kind?
AAA.
Actually, check in the drawer in the where all the jewelry stuff is in your room. Yeah, I was saying something about the charity stream. Anyway, I produced that, and I used to produce the Geek Girls podcast here, but I haven't added a lot of high-end production elements in the cooking stream. I'm probably never going to turn my channel points into more than what is already put in there with like hydrate or posture. I'm not going to do cartwheels. I'm not going to do a little happy dance for you unless I have a complete personality change sometime in the future. Not that kind of streamer. I'm here to educate and inspire, and I hope that people realize that they can cook and learn to get joy from cooking instead of being stressed out by it and thinking it's something they can't do. A lot of times I do very basic things and budget-friendly things. I recently, uh, my household went through a period of underemployment that had me visiting food pantries, and I um, have always been good at making do. I was on a podcast recently called The Studio Window, and I kind of talked about that, how I went to the Gen X Latchkey culinary school where, there's no adults home and you're hungry and what's in the house, and taught myself. And uh, I still, now I get joy out of it and great satisfaction about being able to do that, make something from, nothing. Um, I hadn't made dal from scratch until recently, and I had suggested a friend of mine try it when she was living out of food pantries a few years ago, and then my son gave me some red lentils, and I was like, "Here we go, let's do this." So this cookbook, like I said, is in the giveaways pool. You can find in my giveaways channel in Discord a spreadsheet that's pinned with all the cookbooks that are available when we do giveaways. Um, this is from Marengo Elementary School, Reading, Writing, and Recipes. I don't know where Marengo is. Let's see, but this is something there in South Pasadena, California, um, that their PTO put out. These are some of my favorite cookbooks, right? Like small organizations and auxiliaries, and I really, really have to figure out where I put that one I was going to show you guys. That is for some flute ensemble, and it's got like Strom Thurmond's wife and Rick Springfield or something, like a very snapshot in time of political figures and famous people that gave recipes for this cookbook. It's wild, and I got it for $5 in a thrift shop. But anyway, this was in the ones that my friend donated to the stream. Um, Anybody know what this organization is that supports this school? What the hell is that? So let's see. Sweet potato ribbon chips, I'm in. Sesame chicken with aioli sauce. Well, that's a weird combo. Like, aioli is basically mayonnaise. That's a weird thing to put on teriyaki chicken, but okay. Um, I'm curious to see if this one has. Mm, pardon me, there's a lot of these cookbooks that were put out in like the 60s, I think, and 50s that are everything has a freaking can of soup in it. Um, and those are sometimes very interesting. And I grew up eating some of those, definitely. Like I knew how to make shepherd's pie by it had a can of tomato soup in it. I do it from scratch now. Um, Green bean casserole, I've kind of upgraded that, but I still tend towards some soup. What else? Arizona chicken is something I used to make on the regular. Arizona chicken that came from a friend of my dad's wife. That's like cream of mushroom soup and chicken and French onion soup mix and rice, and I mean it's really good. But holy cow, the saturated fat and sodium and stuff in those soups. Um, and it's sometimes funny to me, like other than a Campbell sponsored one, which you would expect, like to that a person does a whole cookbook, and it's all stuff that is dumping cans of soup. Anyway, so let's see, shrimp and melon balls. This also has the teriyaki marinade from the sesame chicken, which is soy sauce, brown sugar, lemon juice, sesame oil, ground ginger, and garlic powder. Sure, sure. That's a basic teriyaki. Um, so I'm putting aioli on it. Okay, sweet potatoes, vegetable oil for these ribbon chips, sometimes known as yams. Those are different vegetables, but we don't need to get into that. Creamy mushroom croustades. Um, okay, this one is definitely not going to be just a bunch of cans of soup because this flour, tarragon broth, sour cream, it makes a creamy mushroom filling without using a can of soup. Awesome. Prosciutto and Parmesan stuffed mushrooms. Um, this has names of all these PTO members in it after each recipe, which I like. Um, Lots of dips. Two different shepherd or spinach dips and one artichoke spinach. That's good. These warm or cold? They're both cold. The artichoke spinach is hot. Makes sense. Oh, chickpea dip, hummus B tanine. What? I've never seen the spelling. Tahineh. What? They spell tahini Tiahineh. Available at Middle Eastern markets because those are all over the place. Well, you're in California, so these people were in California. Oh, to die for broccoli dip. It's got cream mushroom soup. Called it. I do like they used a composition book looking cover for these cookbooks. Pretty much always were done as a benefit to organizations. This was a PTO. PTA? Which are they calling it? Yeah, parenting organization. Not Harper Valley PTA. Mextex dip. Trying to differentiate yourself there, Marlene. Hey, pepper jelly. Ooh, bell pepper in it. I don't put any bell pepper in my pepper jelly. The pepper jelly recipe I use is from the Ball official book. Marc Boursin en Preuve. A blue cheese mold with gelatin and Italian dressing in it. What the hell? Garnishes cooked shrimp. Isn't that the main thing? And then the mold is a dip at that point? Oh, whatever. Cheese puffs. Grated egg, bread rounds. Bread rounds. Toast small bread rounds lightly on one side under broiler. Mix ingredients and spread. Mounding slightly on untoasted side. If mixture is not thick enough, add more grated cheese. Broil at medium heat until puffed and browned. You know, terrible for you, but those sound all right. Jar of chipped beef. I don't know when the last time I haven't looked. Do they still sell that in the store? I feel like my grandma made a dip like this. What year is this book from? Good question. It seems I would have mentioned that. Printed in the United States of America by Keepsake Cookbooks, Fund Co. Printers, 1815. It's printed in Tennessee. It's got an 800 number. Maybe we can call and ask them. Teacher. Proceeds. Reading, writing recipes. Ranger School. Wow. Yeah. There's no date on this. Which, yep, no date. I guess they don't have to. So this might be impossible to get other than finding a used copy. Yeah, there's no ISBN number. So it's not in the Library of Congress or anything, and they don't have a cookbook. If I had to guess, I have to look at more recipes. Mommy's McNuggets. I'm going to say 70s for this. Poppy seed casserole. Okay. It's not like poppy seeds can be the main ingredient. I mean, I guess you need to label poppy seed dressing that way, and it's not the first thing. They do Top Shelf used to make it. Oh, they came out in the 80s? Really? Okay, well then, cookbooks got to be from the 80s. I'm stuck in that weird Gen X, like the 80s was 20 years ago. Vortex. Used to make SOS sometimes. Oh, shit on a shingle. Gotcha. I grew up with shit on a shingle being ground beef in a cream sauce. My mom used to make for breakfast sometimes. Lul kebab, baked lamb burgers. Into it. Scallopine. Lamb shanks from Mammoth Really Cooks. So Vivian took someone else's recipe, I guess. Ooh, a caponata. Sicilian relish. Capers, eggplant, celery, onion. I may have to copy some of these recipes before I give this away, y'all. Mmm. Salsa fresca, red table sauce. Okay, that's just a salsa. Yeah, red and green. This has a really good variety of recipes for a PTA cookbook from the 80s. Although I'm gonna attribute, I'm gonna give being in California some credit for that. There's in South Pasadena, I mean, they mentioned going to a Middle Eastern market to get some ingredients. So, um, but for me, like these days, a lot of these ingredients are accessible to more people. Um, there's a jicama mango papaya salad here that I would be able to go to the Compare Foods to get. As a matter of fact, I've got jicama. Do I have jicama in the fridge from the recent cookbook development stream I did? I got jicama and taro. No, I got taro and white yam, but they have jicama over there. I've used it in slaw, um, which was a nice surprise. My friend, okay, definitely 80s. Wait till you see this. Um, My friend Sean loves barbecue. He's currently living in a hotel right now. If you can help, reach out to me and I can send you his information. I've been helping all I can. His wife had a stroke in September and she's in a care facility still, and he's there every day taking care of her, doing PT. And I think his daughter's staying with friends, but his son, I went and dropped off some stuff last week. I did laundry for them. Um, they're living in a hotel and they're day to day right now with expenses, and I'm giving all I can. If you want to help with that, in lieu of tipping me or looking at my throne list or any of that crap, let me know and I can give you the information to help them out. Really do anything I can. But anyway, he was big when they had a home to live in on barbecuing and smoking and spend like the whole 12 hours keeping vigil or more, smoking butts. And I took him some slaw that I made that had apple and jicama in it, and he was just like, okay, I don't know what he had trepidation about whether he would like it, and he really liked it. And I mean, I knew he would because if you're a foodie, and I understand not being familiar with an ingredient, but with the apple and a little cider vinegar in the slaw dressing, and the crunch you get from jicama, to be able to put that on a barbecue sandwich when you've used like applewood and stuff, freaking stellar. Anyway, the don't ask President Bush to dinner salad. I'm trying to get this. Ha ha ha. Would you ask President Bush to dinner? Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna say I wouldn't then. Um, he was president, I think, the first time I went to a march. But I would today. He's not that bad a guy. Fresh broccoli, juicy tomatoes, green onions, mayonnaise, seasoned salt, pepper. I know tomatoes have to be juicy. I think I would prefer that late 80s, early 90s broccoli salad. Yeah. It's really, really yellowed for, that's why I was looking at, 70s, but yeah, late 80s, early 90s. So broccoli florets into bite-sized pieces, whatever that means to you. I love this. This recipe, I'm going to read this because it's just a paragraph. It's a list of ingredients with no amounts, and then it's a paragraph. So this is like measure with your heart broccoli salad. Cut broccoli florets into bite-sized pieces, whatever that means to you. Cut equivalent amount of tomatoes into pieces of the same size, juice and seeds too. Add sliced green onions to taste. I like a fair amount. Just note that the earlier you make the salad ahead, the more oniony it gets. Add mayonnaise to moistness you prefer. I only like Best Foods and prepare it on the very moist side. Best Foods. Okay, so that's a California. I think that one leans toward Hellman's. I prefer Hellman's. Just say it. I know I'm in Duke's country. Don't at me. I wish, Dave, if you think that's a great name for a recipe, wait till I'm gonna have to do a stream when I find that other freaking book. I thought I brought it down here for stream, and I don't know, I put it aside. That has like all the political figures in it. It's freaking wild. Anyway, but health or budget may make your brand choice different. And the earlier you make the salad, the more time the juice and seeds have to mix with the mayonnaise and create a moister dressing. This isn't sounding great. Um, Add seasoned salt and pepper to taste. I use only Jane's Crazy Salt, found here locally. Okay, I gotta get the iPad. We have to find Jane's Crazy Salt. What is Jane's Crazy Salt? If I have to guess, I'm gonna say it's similar. Pardon me, I'm still sick. To something called Veggie Sol that I used to use, that I got from Co-op in Buffalo, because it was very, like, vegans, vegetarians are crazy for this stuff. And it basically is like, it's a different kind of seasoned salt, but instead of Lowry's just being a shit ton of salt and like some paprika and stuff, it's got celery salt and stuff in it. And I'm not sure what all, but okay, so definitely at Vaughn's and Pavilions. Okay, so we've got a store too. What? Bath salts, not bath salts. Don't eat the bath salts. We don't need anyone getting arrested or killing anybody. Um, Jane's Crazy Salt. Jane's Crazy Salt. Let's see if we can find it. You can buy it online. Jane's Crazy Mixed Up Salt is a popular all natural seasoning blend created by Jane Siemens in Pennsylvania. Okay, so she's just talking about where she can locally buy it at Vaughn's and Pavilions in California, but it's originally made in Pennsylvania. Salt, herbs, spices, dried onion, garlic, and that's about it. Gluten-free, dairy-free, kosher salt. All right, so just a little zhuzh. I've seen people. I don't herbs and spices. Gotta love that. So not descriptive, not helpful. Vaughn's and Pavilions. Um, so I'm gonna assume this is a 80s, 90s Whole Foods type place. It's an upscale grocery chain in California. Okay, so Vaughn's and Pavilions are owned by the same parent company. Oh, and they're Albertsons. Look, Canadian connection. I'm making Donair. Pavilions acts as an upscale deluxe version of Vaughn's, which has more specialty foods and stuff. So that's where you can get these crazy salts. But yeah, not not the not the bath salts kind of crazy. Just crazy because it tastes like something other than salt. All right. Anyway, but the recipe as originally given me was Lawry's seasoned salt. If you must be careful with salt, any herb or herb mixtures you enjoy could be pleasant. This salad can be eaten immediately, but a little marinating is a plus. And I find that the extra keeps beautifully 3 or more days and makes a delicious, healthier, quick snack for busy people. And this is from Christopher Cass. Thank you, Christopher. I love to see a man who seasons with his heart. I can take this down now. I'm not handling food. Um, so, do you make broccoli salad? I make broccoli salad. I haven't in a while. Broccoli salad or slaw, depending what I've got, because I like to use up the stems and shred them and make slaw. Um, and I got hooked on one that Wegmans back home had in the cold deli that you take that was like lots of little florets, but that was curried. It had like sunflower seeds and golden raisins and kind of a sweet dressing, and walnuts. I really like that one. They used to sell one at Walmart that tasted a lot like it. It was like kind of like a poppy seed dressing leaning broccoli salad. But I also like to just do a slaw that use a regular savory slaw dressing with some broccoli stems that are shredded. Okay, this other broccoli salad has bacon and raisins and peanuts. Not bad. Broccoli bacon. Okay, Oriental asparagus salad. Here we go with the Oriental again. When exactly is the point where we stop doing that, where we realize that Oriental is only a term for like the rugs, not people and cuisine? Because this is taking it, as we've determined, probably into the 90s and still using that in a cookbook. Um, like this one is 1977. When did Marochan switch? They took it off the market, my favorite ramen, which was called Oriental in the blue package, off the market for a while. Now it's back and it's called soy sauce flavor. Late 80s, early 2000s, we stopped using it. Okay, if you say so. The only way I like mushrooms salad. Indian spinach salad. What's Indian about it? Curry powder. Sure. Honey, down south hush puppies. Okay. This is another recipe I'm gonna probably have to try to remember to keep before I give this cookbook away. Maybe I should do if I do these streams where I go through a cookbook. How do you guys feel about me doing a giveaway of the cookbook we go over instead of do the giveaway randomly and then you go through the spreadsheet, because the spreadsheet is kind of huge. Yeah, I think maybe that's a good idea. Good incentive for people to come live too, right? Although then I gotta forget how we do the entry. I'll think about it. But anyway, I've never made hush puppies from scratch. I do like them. I do know I like them when they're oniony. So this, even though this cookbook's from California, might be a good place to start. Let's see. Pumpkin, hazelnut cake, wallbanger cake, Kansas dirt cake, self-filled cupcakes. I don't want to know what that means. Cherry nut oatmeal cookies. Oh, I've got some dried cherries. Does that use dried cherries? Trader Joe's dried cherries. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look here, see what Barney and Dave are saying. You know what though, Dave? Good for you for asking. Like noticing she went silent when you used the wrong term and asking and correcting yourself is good. That's what we should all learn to freaking do. Fell out of common usage by the 60s or 70s. Nope. I got a cookbook from 1977. Was officially removed from federal law in 2016 when Obama signed a bill. See? Thanks, Obama. While to describe Asian people in the 19th and 20th centuries became considered a derogatory, Eurocentric term leading to its gradual removal from official documentation. Excellent. Important fact actually left out, she was Japanese. Yeah. And that's like, there's so much with accents and looks and that are very specific that we just can't know. And so asking first, right? Generally doesn't need to even be referred to, right? But when you're talking about, pardon me, I have to get a tissue. A culture or an area of the world or a cuisine, you kind of got to know. It's really interesting if you don't follow and watch Chef John Lee Young, Leung. Um, he does an Asian cooking stream, primarily Asian cooking. Okay, pardon me. He's in Canada. He's in Alberta, and he does different Asian cuisines from all different, um, countries. And it's really interesting the related and not related distinctions and different kinds of foods that you talk about. There's a lot to learn there, um, and it always pays to ask rather than assume. Okay, let's see. Butter, brown sugar, egg, vanilla, flour, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, oatmeal, dried cherries, chopped walnut. I have everything in the house to make these cherry nut oatmeal cookies. I was gonna make a dried cherry oatmeal cookie and put some white chocolate chips in it too, maybe. Oh no, I was gonna use the dried cranberries and white chocolate. I still gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with these white chocolate chips. But I bet they would go, I bet I could add some to this. A bookmark. Valerie's English Toffee. Get out. I have a toffee recipe from my friend Lori. Um, super secret. My first name is Valerie. I don't use it anymore. I just haven't managed to change it. And Valerie's peanut brittle. So Carol Levinson stole Valerie's recipes and put them in a cookbook. For a good cause. It's fine. Monk's Fudge. I'm saving this. I'm going to grab a bookmark in a second. Just for kids. This, yes. Yes, more of this. I didn't buy a lot of kids' cookbooks. I've got Waiter, There's a Chef in My Soup. I have Emerald's Kids Cookbook. Um, I have a cookbook that my son took out of the library and lost, and then I found like 20 years later, um, that I already paid them for. But we didn't buy a lot of kids specific cookbooks, but I always encouraged them to learn to cook. Connor even had a little Wolfgang Puck chef coat and hat. Mm. But I think this is a great idea and a good way to get. Okay, see you, Barney. I hope you're feeling better today. I know you have had a rough migraine a couple of days, and I've had to rearrange my schedule, but it's fine. It's fine. I ended up feeling like this cold was really killing me yesterday, so I'm glad I didn't have to take you to the doctor. Um, anyway, thanks for the suggestion. What's the suggestion? Just always ask. All right. So if you're doing a fundraiser for a school, um, other than also encouraging kids to cook, which I think we should all do, um, putting a section in that's for the kids, like even the parents that already contributed a recipe might feel more compelled to buy the book if their kids want it, right? Draw the kids in. Okay, so I need another bookmark. So I'm gonna get this out. This is a cool, it was part of Christmas present from my husband. It's the Witchcraft collection. There's like cool paper stuff. So it's got like cool spooky paper and crafts and postcards and wrapping papers. And in here, and I know I already got one out, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. It's got these bookmarks. I'm using one in a book I'm reading. I just finished called The Coven. So I guess I'll go with this one, this pumpkin guy. It's got an image on the back that you end up with part of. I never have enough bookmarks, so this was another cool feature in this book of things that make me happy. Stickers, posters, coloring pages, just spooky paper. I have a Cricut if I want to cut things, gift tags, more bookmarks. Yay! So, another bookmark, and I'm going to mark This is a bag I bought elderberry syrup from my friend who has a honey business. So these cherry nut oatmeal cookies are getting marked. I'll make at least those before we give this book away. Okay, let's see what we have for kids. Peanut butter roll-ups. Somebody crossed out powdered milk, uncooked Quaker oats, honey, and peanut butter. They just put an X on it. Why would you do that? Let me see if I can erase it. Optional ingredients: raisins, chocolate chips, or chopped nuts. Mix all ingredients, roll into bite-sized balls. No cooking required. Okay. Who? Oh, that's gonna. Is that doing more? No damage to the page. Not after I get the initial crap off the eraser. I try not to damage these too much. I try to get all the price tags off of them. Some I couldn't without tearing the cover, so they're blacked out. So if you get these books, they're not all in perfect condition, but decent. This eraser is old as fuck. This is from a pencil that I loaned my car to a teacher for like 6 months, and it came back full of pencils. Okay, let's see. Honey butter peanut butter balls, peanut butter surprise balls, marshmallow popcorn balls, Ooh, popcorn balls that have molasses in them. Hey, what else are kids making? Colorful candy. Gorp. What's Gorp? Just mix it up. Chocolate chips, raisins, honey graham cereal, miniature marshmallows, and peanuts. No, uncandy bars. Wheat germs. Way to sneak some. Using bread, making like sweet peanutty bars. Hershey's Kiss Ring. Biscuits and brownie pudding pizza. Are all the Cheerio Christmas trees? Can we have the kids making food that's not dessert? Here we go. Chunky carrot sandwich spread. It's got peanut butter too. Peanut butter and orange marmalade and a carrot. I don't think I want to eat that. Cream cheese and apple butter sandwich spread. I used to eat cream cheese and jelly when I was a kid. It's the only thing. Meatballs that I make have grape jelly in them, and once in a while I get a nostalgic need for a cream cheese and grape jelly sandwich. It's the only time I eat grape jelly. Beef jerky. Hey, it's got Tabasco spelled wrong. Garlic powder, Worcester, white vinegar, beef strips. Okay, so you marinate and marinate 4 hours at room temperature. I don't feel good about that for safety. Drain meat all day, then dry at lowest heat possible and for 12 hours. Turn over a few hours when done. Wipe strips with paper towels and remove all grease. All right. I like the idea of making jerky together. My house, I make jerky in my dehydrator. Wow, does that smell good? I've done it in the oven, and like no matter how low you put it, I don't know. I haven't had great results at. I've also tried smoking it. Too smoky. If your marinade usually has plenty of flavor in the marinade, the smoke just ruins that part. Fruit tacos, Play-Doh a la peanut butter. What are these people? Suckers. Making suckers fun. Invisible fruit inks. What? Lemon, orange, and grapefruit apple juices are great invisible inks with a clean steel pen or fine brush. We all have a clean steel pen around. Write a secret message. Any of these juices, the ink, right between the lines of another message that's not invisible. When the juice is dry, it becomes colorless on the paper. The secret message can be read by warming the paper with an iron or putting the paper over a light bulb. Well, that's fun. Spice necklaces. Soak cloves in allspice and water and thread them. Okay. I don't know how that's a weird kid thing. Bread clay. Why does it have glue? So this isn't okay. They've moved on without any notation to this isn't actually for eating anymore, I guess. Play-Doh non-cooking method. Yeah. I mean, the clay is cornstarch, baking soda, cold water. I guess you could eat it. Uh, the Christmas ornaments, all of a sudden it says powdered alum in it. So, no, don't eat that one. Bread clay has white bread, white glue, and detergent or glycerin. Yeah, they probably, if I made this book, I would have delineated don't eat this because you never know, right? Bubble stuff, cool. I love they specify Joy dishwashing detergent. I used to use Joy. There's a handy herb guide, an equivalent chart, nice. And then an index. Right. So that was fun and silly. And I got a recipe that I'm gonna definitely make out of that. What else do we have? All right. Do we want to go over another one? I think I'm probably gonna end the stream. It's 2:30. I gotta leave in maybe an hour. I'm reaching under here where the cookbooks are. Some of the cookbooks. Dude, there's so many cookbooks. But I have to take my son to work in a little while. Zone Perfect. 1984 Best Recipes. I have so many cookbooks. Dutch. Pillsbury's Bake Off. Barbecue. Cakes and pies. Vegetables. All right. Yeah, we'll just go through that one for today. And I'm going to brainstorm and looking for feedback. Go on to Discord. I can smell the Donair, by the way. It smells great. But I'm going to take this time to go see what I did with the previous Donair video. If I got to the end, so I see what I want to show on this and if I want to keep it. Yeah, we're just over an hour, which is great for me. And then see if I want to publish that. Please do join my Discord and let me know how you think this might go if we want to do cookbooks giveaways live on stream as well as the ones that I've been doing every so many followers. I don't really. Who do we want to raid? Let's raid Mary's Milk Monsters. I'll try that. She's somebody I am newly following. She keeps goats. She's training for some kind of bike ride. She has ducks where she goes in apparently every day and they guess how many eggs they're going to get from their ducks. And she's out doing an IRL riding around on her cool 3-wheel bike right now. I'm going to spell it wrong. That's going to be a problem. Nope, it's all one word. I can do this. Mary's Milk Monsters. Thanks, Dave. I'm glad you're going to play basketball. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to try to get a little more sun today myself, hoping to get rid of this cold. And oh, the other thing I'm going to use for this time is to go try and fix my bot so that I can do shout outs. I really appreciate those of you that stopped by today, and I want to be able to pass that on and get some folks back to you who haven't seen your wonderful show. Eardrops was great. I guess that's it for now. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to cooking with you soon.